Not everything has to be matchy-matchy, like
no,
you said.
not
It's
anymore.
Mixing those things gives it that little bit of character.
We complement things more
Layered
than
look.
yeah.
Draws your eye in all different directions, so you don't come in the looking style.
Yeah, because it's cold and unwelcoming. You want to warm it up with the textures and materials.
Yeah. Hi, thanks for tuning in to another ACo Designer Chat. My name is Mia Farrell. I'm a designer at ACo, and I'm here to help you love where you live. And so are these ladies that I'm joined by today. Fabulous interior designers here in the city, and we're talking about some tips to style your new kitchen. So thanks so much, guys, for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna start with you, Roa. Roa Merchaud of Home and Willow. You guys are neighbors here in the building. We love your showroom. It's so beautiful and nice to have you here. And that's where all these beautiful things came from, and well, most of them. But talk to us a little bit about what you've seen as far as popular styles lately.
Lately, you know, people are trying to combine the old style with the new modern style, and that's what we call transitional. So they are trying to stay away from heavy materials, too many curves, busy, and trying to move to straight lines and a more clean, simple / functional. So transitional is the trend nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice hybrid.
Right.
And I feel like I hear from clients a lot, clean lines.
Clean lines,
And then it's like
exactly.
they maybe don't know what that means, but that's what we're talking about
That's a
here.
clean, more simple, but we want it to be functional as well, so we can hit two birds in one stone.
Absolutely, I love it. So Kate Elliott, Cotty Designs, thanks so much for being here.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, would you agree as far as transitional design is concerned?
Definitely, yeah. Kind of going that minimalistic, the clean lines, like you said, being functional as well. So we've got some great stuff here, and I am seeing a lot of mixed materials. So natural, the woven, I'm obsessed with these. We've got a stunning bowl here that can be functional because you could put fruit in it.
Absolutely.
Or florals, things like that.
Yeah, and some of those textures do kind of play off the nice hybrid of the two styles. You know, we're not fully traditional, we're not old school,
Right.
we're not full modern, contemporary, really cold. It's that kind of nice, happy
In the middle.
medium in between.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that those textures definitely play into that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kara? Kara Greider, thanks so much for being here.
Love being here. I agree with you guys. I think it needs to be intentional, so it is someone's home.
Right.
So not only are we traditional, we have the traditional background, but then more the modern edge styling, which creates that transitional look. I think adding like personal touches. So like, for example, like some old cutting boards, or like this is, I brought this from home. This is my grandma's cookbook that I got in her will. But like having these things, and they go for good stories. You walk into a house, you know it's yours. And that's most important, I think, to make it your home.
Yeah.
And create that personal attachment.
Absolutely.
to your
And with kind of a nice transitional base, it gives you the comfortable place to put things like this, because it's obviously been used and loved, and I love it so much because it does have that personal touch, and it's such a nice story for you to be able to say, this was my grandma's. And you know, there's so much that goes into that, and I love it. If you've got that really contemporary, more, you know, stark kind of home, something like that
This
might
warms
not,
it up. Like little things, even like vintage cabinets or different pieces.
Yep.
I absolutely love when a client's like, well, I have my grandpa's, you know, dresser that I would love to use. I'm like, yes,
Yes,
put it
please.
in, because sometimes it can look so
can
cold,
always mix
but then
and
you bring
match.
Absolutely.
such a good level of element. you
Yeah,
know, to
yeah.
add.
And you had mentioned something at one point about mixing metals
Yes.
too. People ask me all the time, am I allowed? Absolutely, yes, it's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a client that wants to go oil rubbed bronze everywhere, and I'm like, can we maybe add in
Let's
some
bring it to
black?
2022.
Let's bring in some other things. So as I'm putting together those designs, giving those suggestions, because I think they just can't envision it.
Yeah.
So helping them along.
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time when we get into those conversations about mixing metals, like you use the word intentional.
Yeah.
It's very important that we're doing it in an intentional way. Like I'm not going to put, you know, one faucet that's chrome and then, you know, a gold like beverage dispenser next to it. You know, like let's be intentional about how we're doing it. So I think that's really smart. So talk to us, Roa, about some of the things that we've got here. When we were kind of shopping down at Home and Willow, you picked this piece up, and I loved it because it did kind of speak kitchen, because it's almost got that kind of Corningware vibe to it, bringing in a little bit of that vintage feel. So tell us a little bit about some of the things
Well,
you've got.
I'm gonna start with this this is a very small, you know, piece of flowers that you can put on the island. It's gonna give you that fresh look, you know. It has the red, white, green colors.
And it's faux, which a lot
Yes,
of let's put some good stuff. They look at me and like, I am not changing florals every week. So that is a nice touch, like a good,
Absolutely.
solid faux.
Yeah, because I can't
This
keep things
bowl
alive.
is
I appreciate that.
rustic, you know. I mean, you can add some fruits to it. It's very simple, good size, not too busy. You love those.
I love these. I love these. Well, and just the height on the counter, and even without putting anything in them, they just are such a statement piece. And I think it'd look really beautiful with like a platter or like a tray next to it with maybe some other stuff. But yeah, I love that it pulls into color, especially if you're doing more neutral cabinetry and things like that. Being able to pull in some color, I think is
And a
really
neutral
nice.
color, mind you.
Right,
Let it go with
yes.
so much,
So many
not
things.
an orange per se, but
Right,
like
yeah.
that robin egg. I like it because I like the scale of them, because I feel like nowadays islands are massive. I mean,
Right.
you know, a lot of
So
people
you
want that
can-
big island, and you gotta be proportional with how you style it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We push the limits all the time.
Yes.
How big can we make this island?
How many more chairs can you
Or
fit?
two,
You
yeah.
put two islands all the time.
And
now I
talking
gotta style
about
too.
talking about mixing like materials. This is ceramic and this is metal,
Right.
and we can always do that all day long.
Looks
And
so
it's
good
gonna
together.
look beautiful. Yeah, very
absolutely.
appealing and
Not everything
engaging.
has to be matchy-matchy, like
No,
he says.
not
It's
anymore.
Mixing those things gives it that little
We
bit of character.
complement things more
Layered
than like
look.
yeah.
Draws your eye in all different directions, so you
Sure.
don't come in the looking style.
Yeah.
Because it's cold
vital.
and unwelcoming. You want to warm it up with the textures and materials.
Yeah, and the cutting boards bring in the wood element, which is always nice. You know, I think that we're never going to not have white kitchens. There's always going to be white kitchens, and that's fine because white is classic. But when you bring in the nice kind of softer wood tones to tone down the white a little bit, I think it's nice, and then they're functional too. So.
Right.
And they break up light backsplashes. Like sometimes I'll layer them and I'll put them like behind your stove, or wood in general. Everyone wants warmth in their kitchen, but it is nice to have.
I like using them to stack and give height.
Yeah.
You know, where
Yeah.
maybe it's just a very long countertop and you don't want your appliances out. So, you know, we had talked about appliance garages and having a purpose.
Yes.
I finally put my toaster in a cabinet because I was sick of looking at it, you know, and I'm trying to get that clean line. But then, yeah, I've got cutting boards and trivets that my grandfather made because he was did
perfect.
carpentry.
Yeah.
And just having something nice and warm and personal is so fun.
Yeah.
And less is more.
Less
When you walk into a kitchen,
more.
you see all that like so busy. I'm like, you guys, but bigger pieces can get away with that when you're not putting the little trinkets everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That makes me wonder, Kara, and all of you, if you have anything to chime in, is there anything that you want to see go away as far as decor trends or anything of the like?
I don't really love the whole cookbook open on a stand look.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think, well, partly because if I'm going to use a cookbook, it is so messy and splattered anyway. It's not really a decor piece.
It looks a little staged.
It does.
Yeah,
it
I
does.
appreciate
It looks
that.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. In maybe a home that you are staging for sale, perhaps. But in your own home, why? Yeah.
I was like, are you really making that right now?
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
I'm not. And it's got to be the most complicated recipe, and I'm going to go. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it.
I can see that. My biggest thing is the busyness. Like I'll go to people's kitchens and the surrounding cabinetry countertops are just full of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I can be completely guilty of this with all my children making a mess. But I just feel like declutter.
Simplicity.
Yes.
Put some
Show
things
those
away.
new countertops off. Or
That's what we call clean look.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Simple, clean.
Yeah.
Show
Anything
me
that you
drawers.
hate to see?
Well, you know what? Like she said, we're all guilty when it comes to stuff on the
We can talk a
countertop.
big game.
Don't come to my house. Maybe tomorrow.
That's a good indication. That means we use the kitchen, we
It's
cook,
limited.
we feed
that's
our
true.
kids and families. I mean, I can go away with anything.
Well, so one more thing that I wanted to ask you guys about. I still see a lot of open shelving in kitchens. If you walked into a kitchen with open shelving, what are you going to style it with? What are you going to put on it?
I would say like ceramics, mixing, those things. I love the crafts with, there's some that have like unique tops, so like a ball of wood or something like that, just to kind of bring in those different textures.
Sure.
Greenery for sure. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier as far as when we were kind of planning this, but yeah, bring a little bit of greenery, not going over the top. I love the faux stuff. You can get such good stuff right now that doesn't look super fake, but I'm not going to keep a plant alive.
Nope.
Like, so So I think, different levels of things, putting your cookbooks on there.
Yeah.
I always look for height. So like if I'll look at and I see a blank drywall, I want to do some height. So I'll probably add in some kind of frame, whether it be like a really cool watercolor of some fruit because it's kitchen,
Right.
or maybe it's just something that means something to that individual,
Yeah.
you know, a print that they bought when they're on vacation. And so I do that. And sometimes I'll even layer it to try to give that, you know, you draw your eye up with the taller one, but then the shorter one will be a
Right.
different frame, mixing metals.
Yes.
And then, always, I feel like I'm always grouping things.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which helps.
Yeah.
And I think I like to bring in older things too. So like you've got your cookbook, but maybe that person has not had anything handed down, but you know, if it's a kitchen, some vintage like pot or something like that, that's small and decorative, just to bring in that texture and something different. And new.
Artisanal look. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love open shelves. I know they're like, I do too, like a headache for every client that looks at it. They're like, that should just be styled. I'm like, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
Like,
let me help.
it's just-
That's what I'm here for.
It's fresh. You walk in.
Yeah, we've been seeing so many more kitchens go toward feeling more like a living space and not so much like cabinet. It's a little bit more styled and and that's okay. I think it makes it
lightens
feel
up.
cozy.
It doesn't look so boxy and
Yes.
heavy with tons of cabinetry.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love them above a wet bar. Like nice open shelves, you can put your glassware, stoneware.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wet bars are a fun one to
Yeah.
style too.
Yeah, and you know,
There's just so many.
there's cool glassware.
I mean, it could be as simple as that. Like everyone's like,
absolutely.
like, get some cool wine glasses. You know how some people have those personalized or they get it as a gift. Put it on display. Put your picture on display.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are fun. Moscow Mule glasses, anything
Yes.
with copper or metal tones, and hit that in with glassware. It draws the eye in a different direction.
I'm always going for bottles that are like branded really cool. So they look nice on a shelf. Like you have some like decanters and things like that. But then if you group together some cool looking bottles.
Yeah, I'm guilty of shopping by the label.
Oh, totally. It may not taste great, but
I don't buy candles unless they have a cool label.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think overall the name of the game, you guys, is like you've all said, personality, you know, bringing in the personal touches and making spaces look like they're lived in by the people that live there, and that's okay. I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We're going to talk with all of you again about styling bathroom spaces. I'm looking forward to getting some perspective on that. So thanks for being here, and we will chat with you guys again next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah.